Hey Rach, sorry, it's been a while since I've done a vlog. Whoops. Yeah. Part of it is not super interesting what's been happening. And part of it was a big push last week because my deadline for Thesis was coming up and there were some last minute adjustments that had to happen. So, and it always landed on days where I was like super proactive in getting other things done, like doing writing or working on Book and Page. So it always ended up being that I had like really full days that just ended with me like rapidly working on my thesis. Mostly just sort of how it's set up. I made a mistake with the margins at one point. So having to shift margins meant everything else shifted and I had to go back through, especially on my block quotes, because block quotes are terrible and I hate them. No, that's a lie. My block quotes never did anything to me. I think at this point in time I'm just, I want to head to the next step for my thesis. So that deadline was on Friday, and as of what I heard Thursday, it should have been submitted Thursday. So, here's hoping that it got submitted Thursday. It'd be real nice if somebody would tell me that it did. But that's sort of how all of this is going down right now. So it's more a waiting game on that one. And we'll see how that turns out. So that's all my thesis news. I mean, hopefully it got submitted. And I'll be able to defend and then go to spring convocation. Which, oddly enough, for this university is in June, not in May. Other news, I mean, I'm working on the end of The Hobbit for the Book and Page series. I'm hoping to do a push at this week and finish up the full Hobbit so that I can pre-record all the videos and have them all ready to go. Yeah, so that's my big push. I mean, today it's mostly doing some videos. I think I've got like 6 left, 5 or 6 left altogether. And so I've got to record them, I've got to edit them, I've got to render them. So that's mostly this week, is going to be finishing up the first series of Book and Page. And then I have to make the decision of what is the second text I'm going to be doing. And start working on that. I don't know. My life is pretty boring right now. It's gray. And bleh, out. I wish it was more exciting. I mean, I had a pretty good weekend for the most part. Saturday was nice because we ended up out of the house for like the entire day. Between some shopping in the morning and we went to lunch out at this place that we've had our eye on for the last little bit. And I got some, what they called the taco plate, and the taco plate came with 2 tacos. Huge tacos. Far too much taco and fries for me to eat for lunch. So I think next time I'll just do 1 taco. But I know it, and I enjoyed it well enough that like I would definitely want to go back there again, which is good because my parents enjoyed it, and they want to go back there again. So that's definitely like on our list of restaurants to visit, which is nice because it's nice to get out of like big brand name restaurants, get into some of the local ones. And interestingly enough, while we were waiting, because we were a little early, about 10 minutes before the restaurant opened, we met another couple who were coming in who also heard it recommended, and my mother was chatting with them, and they actually recommended the Italian restaurant across the road. So we've got another recommendation. So we were at the the restaurant. And my parents decided they wanted to get, you can do what's called the beer sampler. And it's basically just, you can pick 4 out of the 8 beers on their beer menu, and you get little samplers of them. And they were just like, yeah, the 2 of us are going to enjoy this. And I was just like, what, I don't get any of this? Like, I'm not a big drinker, but I wouldn't mind tasting some of them. And they were like, oh yeah, no, you can have some too. And I was just like, cool. They're really used to the fact that I don't drink. And 3 of them, I just, nope. But they had this apple cider one that I couldn't sit there and like chug, but I could have a small glass of it and sip on it through the meal. I wouldn't find that the worst thing in the world to do. And it was interesting because all of us agreed that we liked that one. And there was a dark ale that like none of us liked. So the waitress came back a couple of times and she was just like, not a fan of the dark ale, huh? I'm just like, nah. So that was really nice to be able to sit down and do. And be like, isn't this nice? And then for supper we ended up actually at my uncle's house with some family members. And surprisingly enough had some discussions about some like really serious topics where we didn't get super angry at each other and didn't kill each other, but disagreed and argued points about those disagreements. And there were a couple of times that I just pointed out that I'm really glad that like I have a family where we might disagree with each other and say we disagree with each other, but I can still have this conversation without being concerned that one of you is going to push me down the stairs. Or poke me with a steak knife a couple of times. So that had people napping fits. And then the family is really fond of a card game called Oh Shit. And it's called that because what happens is you start the game and everyone has 11 cards. And you have to make 2 sets of 3. So you've got to find 3 of the same cards twice and lay those down. And I mean, there's a bunch of rules to it, like aces are low, so aces count as 1, and so when you're doing a run, they can be 1, 2, 3. It can't go after a king, because some games will have aces high, meaning they count after a king. And so what you're doing is you go around and you draw a card, and you're trying to make whatever your deck is. And when you get your deck, you lay down on the table. So, okay, I've got my 2 sets of 3, lay down when it's your turn, and then you can play your cards onto anybody else that's laid down. And what you're trying to do is end the round when you have no cards. You want to go out and have no cards. But everyone else is trying to do the same thing as well. And what happens is when somebody goes out, the round ends, and you have to count what's still in your hand. So aces are worth 15 points. 3 to 9, the numbered cards, are 5 points each. All the face cards and 10 are 10 points each. And then 2s and jokers are wild. And they can fit in anywhere. So if you have a pair and a 2, you can actually put that in, and that will be your set of 3. And they count as 25 each. So wild cards are really useful for helping with your hand, but can be terrible if you don't get down and don't have a chance to clear your hand and somebody goes out. Because then the points go up, and you want the lowest amount of points. But what happens is when you lay down your hand, the next round you get an additional card, and you've now got another thing you have to go through. I think 12 cards ends up being a run of 5 and a set of 3. And runs have to be all the same suit. note you're playing with like 3 or 4 decks here. I think we had 3 going last night, Saturday night. And it gets progressively harder, and you end up having, it goes up to 18 cards, and 18 cards has 3 rounds where you're trying to make progressively harder combinations. Especially, it's really hard when everybody like matches you really well, and so you're all trying to, the final one is like a run of 10 and a set of 5. Like, it's a ridiculous thing, and that's why the name of the game is Oh Shit, because half the time you take a look at what you're trying to make and you're like, oh shit. But it's really fun, and my family loves playing it, but it's become progressively harder to get enough players together to actually go ahead and do that, especially since really my generation, like my cousins, have started having kids. Well, cards, like, we went until it was after 11. You can't do that when you have little kids. Like, the parents have to take the kids home because the kids have to go to bed. So, getting the opportunity to sit down and play cards is becoming a rare opportunity, and it finally happened on Saturday night. So, like, Saturday was like a really full day, but a really awesome one. But as an introvert, like, for the rest of this weekend, which was a long weekend, yesterday was family day for us, it was, I need to introvert a bit. So, like, we did chores on Sunday, and then I was like, I'm not doing anything Monday. I sat and played my video game. It's family day, but Mom and Dad were watching TV, and I was in the living room playing on my Switch, so we hung out as a family. Introvert hanging out. And that was about the most exciting day that I've had in a long time. This Saturday. I mean, like I said, there's not much else to mention. I did a lot of thesis work. I'm working on Book and Page. So, like I said, hopefully The Hobbit, I'm finished that this week. And then I'm also working on some writing, and once I finish The Hobbit, I'm hoping to make another big push on, I'd love to get Eagles done soon. We'll see if that's actually going to happen, but that would be like the next thing I'd like to do after, like, finish The Hobbit and have Book and Page all ready to go for the next little bit, and then finish Eagles, like, make the push, finish Eagles. And then, I mean, there's Ravens after that, so let's see how that goes. I don't really have much else to say. I mean, I described the card game to you, so that's super helpful, huh? I wish it wasn't so gray and wet. I was hoping to go out for a walk today. Maybe I will anyways. I'll find my umbrella somewhere. I'm gonna keep going on this work, and we'll see how far I get with Book and Page today. Story of my life's not more interesting. Maybe something will come up. So, like I said, I'm gonna go probably do some editing right now and let my camera battery charge, and then I'll make another push for recording a few more videos. So, see you later, Rach. Hopefully next time I'll have something more interesting to talk about.